Hi, welcome back to another episode of Figs Talks Fights. I'm your host, Brian Figueredo, and today we're going to get into a few things. Some fun things, some serious shit, but let's just try to enjoy ourselves. What else can we do? We're living in this moment right now, so let's live it. Okay? We're going to talk about the last UFC event that took place last Saturday, March the 14th in Brasilia, Brazil, in front of nobody. Main event, Kevin Lee versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira. We're going to talk about that card. I'm going to introduce a fun drinking game. We're going to talk about the depressing near future ahead, not just in mixed martial arts, but the sports world. How the hell are we going to get through this? Well, let's find out. Now, first of all, today is St. Patrick's Day. And I'm not Irish. I'm not even close to it. I don't need to do 23andMe Ancestry.com. I'm telling you, I got no Irish in my background, but today everybody's a little bit Irish, right? So most bars are closed, most restaurants are closed, and with all this shit going on out there, it's probably best you don't end up in a wide, big crowd of drunk people getting sloppy anyways. But you can do it in the comfort of your own home. It is a Tuesday night. I don't recommend getting drunk. Things to do tomorrow still, okay? But enjoy yourself. So it's come to my attention since I've been doing these videos for about, 6 weeks now. I started this YouTube channel. I say the word all right a lot, all right? So let's have a little fun. Anytime I say the word all right, grab yourself a little drink. If you're drinking hard liquor, take the tiniest sips, because I bet you I'll say it a dozen times and I ain't going to be responsible for nobody's alcohol poisoning. You be responsible here, all right? Perfect example right there. We'll start soon, but just take a sip of your drink. Let's have some fun. Now, I don't have any green beer at home. The closest thing I can come to is a blue beer. All right? There you go. All right. So, with that being said, unprofessional of me. We're in the middle of a pandemic, people. Who gives a shit? Enjoy yourself. All right? Let's get into it. So your main event was Kevin Lee versus Charles do Bronx Oliveira, and I gotta tell you, hell of a fight. Hell of a fight. This was a great action-packed, exciting fight, but it was a little weird. Weirdest mixed martial arts event I've ever seen, because there was nobody in the crowd. Nobody. There was an arena. They even had the Jumbotron set up because somebody in the production crew said, F it, we've paid for this, put the damn things up. So you had the big screens in the background. Maybe that's for the referee to check in on the time, or for the fighters. Just try to keep it as realistic as possible. Having a few people in the background going, just to try to make some sort of a crowd noise. There would be no booze during this main event, but weird. The strangest thing. The only time I've ever seen anything like this was, if you recall, on, I believe it was the Ultimate Fighter season 14. They had 32 guys come in. I don't remember if you remember some of those seasons where all the guys thought they were going to get in the house. Then they showed up on the Ultimate Fighter set and said, nope, you got to fight each other to get into this house. And they did that at the Mandalay Bay Arena. It was an empty arena, and they were trying to mimic what it would be like to be at a live event, to get the fighters under that pressure. This is a completely different story. This was an established UFC fight card that took place on ESPN Plus, TSN here in Canada. Unprecedented, just like the times we're in. So Kevin Lee and Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira eventually caught Kevin Lee with a guillotine choke, I believe at like 30 some odd seconds in the third round, pardon me. All right. Great fight. There was scrambles all over the place. I was highly impressed with Charles Oliveira just being so loose with his stand-up. And guys or girls, if you got a great jiu-jitsu game, you're great off your back, you got great sweeps, you got traps, you can go for heel hooks, knee bars, arm bars, chokes, and you got them from every position. This can let you be a little bit more loose on your stand-up, because what the hell are they going to do? Take you to the ground? Great. Perfect. Right? Kevin Lee's no slouch on the ground himself. He's an incredible wrestler. He's got a great top game. Puts the pressure on well. And there was even one point I thought Kevin was going to get caught in a triangle choke. Beautiful, beautiful technique. He just got his posture up enough and then just squeezed that arm in there to break open the guard of Charles Oliveira. Risky nonetheless, but stays in the guard and puts some ground and pound on him. There was some incredible scrambles in there. Now, me personally, I do not have the most flexible quads. So when I was seeing Kevin Lee transition out of leg locks, he eventually got himself in like a bit of a half of a calf slicer where the back of his heel was pretty much touching his ass, okay? And it was just getting squeezed on, I believe it was the half guard of Charles Oliveira. I'm doing this all off by memory, okay? I was screaming in pain, just, got very... My quads are definitely, I'm not a flexible person to begin with, and that is definitely not the most flexible part of me. So that made me cringe. I hope Kevin's knee is all right because some of those heel hooks were looking a little bit nasty as well, okay? Kevin Lee just made a bit of a mistake, shot a little bit too hard in on a takedown. I thought he went out in that guillotine because as soon as the referee, Mike Beltran, put a halt to the fight after Kevin Lee tapped, Kevin Lee just started wrestling. He started to chain wrestle, grab the hips, go for the legs, and Mike Beltran had to separate it and explain to him what happened. Kevin Lee, I didn't tap. I believe him. I don't think this was some sort of trickery trying to go on. I think he literally went out for a sec, came to, saw Charles Oliveira, all of a sudden he's scrambling away from him and just got right back to the action, okay? Where is Kevin Lee going to go from here? He's talking about maybe you're not going to see me for a year or two. He's very emotional. This was an emotional week too. I mean, all week long, he did miss weight. Okay, he was claiming it was unprofessional on his behalf and he didn't take the fight on enough notice. All right? Shit. Said it again. I'm not counting this, so if I miss a bunch, whatever. I don't want to be getting all beer burpy on this video. But anyhow, Kevin Lee goes on and states that he may have taken this fight on too short of notice, didn't get enough time to cut the weight. Okay, possibly. He said he didn't have his nutrition down. Look, he was lean as hell. It's not like he had ounces of body fat sitting around where he could have cut any more. Especially with all the muscle mass he's carrying. I mean, how much water can he truly suck out of his body? And look, you're not going to sweat under duress. I mean, there was panic in Brasilia. They just announced 2 COVID-19 positive people within the city there, and they just shut it all down. What are you going to do? Charles Oliveira, on the other hand, how did he sneak? I believe this is 7 wins in a row. If it's not 7, it's 6 in the lightweight division. How the hell has he snuck it past everybody? I haven't seen anybody talk. He's just been doing it right under the radar and under some legit competition too with your Clay Guidas, your Jim Millers. I don't think he's lost since Paul Felder fought him and pretty much TKO'd him with ground and pound with nasty elbows from Paul Felder in that fight. And he did it in the guard of Charles Oliveira. Charles Oliveira is calling for a rematch in that fight between him and Paul Felder. I wouldn't mind seeing it. But I mean, Paul Felder is coming off a loss. He's saying he only wants big fights. I mean, much respect to Charles Oliveira. I don't know how much of a big name he will become. I've been watching this guy in the UFC. I saw him live at an event back in December 2010. He's been in the game here well over 10 years at the highest of levels. Between lightweight, then went down to featherweight, had some weight troubles there, and went back up. What to do next for Charles Oliveira? I mean, stick around. We got a great division. You got Tony Khabib, you got Conor McGregor, you got Justin Gaethje, you got Dan Hooker in the mix, you got Dustin Poirier in the mix. There's a lot of great fighters in the 155-pound division. I could probably name off names for 20 guys, even unranked guys. It's a stacked division. But let's move along. Move along with the fight card. Now, Damian Maia, took on Gilbert Burns in your co-main event. Gilbert Burns was coming to this fight going, hey, don't be surprised if I submit to Damian Maia. Damian Maia got his back early in the round. Thought he was going to get a rear naked choke. Couldn't do it. Gilbert Burns got out of it. Eventually found a way with a beautiful check left hook right on the chin. Just right clearly on the button of Demian Maia. Put him on his ass. Okay. Raises his hands up as if the fight's already over. The ref looks at him like, dude, he's still conscious. Boom, boom, boom. Yes, Demian Maia was still conscious, but it was a good stoppage there. Gilbert Burns, holy shit. Somebody to look out for at 170 pounds, okay? Incredible win. Great fight. Moving on. Renato Moicano took on, I believe it was Damir Hardovic. Probably butchering it, okay? Fight didn't last long. Now, Renato Moicano is a career featherweight, moving up to 155 pounds. Drops Damir, I think like half a minute, 40 seconds into the fight. Gets the rear naked choke, puts it on him, and all this adrenaline. He's still yelling at Damir after the fight. Man, Renato Moicano is pissed off and wants somebody at 155 pounds. Not ready for the Charles Oliveira's just yet, but another guy to keep your eye out on, okay? The other fight that happened on this card was Johnny Walker returns from his first UFC loss against Corey Anderson. He got knocked out in November. I believe it was UFC 244. It was the BMF card. And coming against Nikita Krylov. Yeah, yikes. Now, Johnny Walker looked aggressive at first. Is Johnny Walker a flash in the pan? Because he gassed out pretty quick in this fight. Okay? Pretty freaking quick. Do I think Johnny Walker has shit cardio? I highly doubt it. I highly doubt it. I guarantee you this guy can go for a lengthy period of time in the gym. I guarantee you he does his road work in order to be 6'6", okay? And he's not a beanpole. He's pretty chiseled. To come down to 205 pounds, you're putting in some fucking road work to make that weight. All right? Did it again. Better be taking a sip with me. I don't give a shit if it's a water on your desk right now, if it's a coffee. Do something. St. Patty's Day. Happy pandemic. Anyhow, nonetheless, Johnny Walker, he needed help up. He didn't get help, but he looked like he was just sitting there in between the first and the second round where Nikita Krylov was just getting warm and ready, put Johnny Walker on the ground and said, shit, I found the hole in his game. Nikita Krylov is primarily a karate fighter from the Ukraine, and he's got a hell of a ground game too, but he's primarily stand-up. Was taking down Johnny Walker with very little effort. It's not like he had to chain wrestle 5 attempts. It was one, if the first didn't work, then grab the hips, drag him down. Johnny Walker got a couple of scrambles in this fight, but I mean, I think even at one point, he had a mount, a lazy fucking mount to get swept. And Nikita Krylov to get into his guard. I know he's working with Faraz Zahabi, okay? He still has some old members of his team still around. He's doing his best to try to change his game up, but Johnny Walker needs to work, in my opinion, from the asshole that's sitting here on the couch, on pacing himself. A sprint is a sprint. I don't give a shit what shape you are in. The most incredible shape. There was a guy named Phil Baroni back in the day. Phil Baroni could go in the gym all day long, but he gassed out in almost every fight because you can only sprint for so long. There's a 100-meter dash, and that's the minimum you can meet in the Olympics. Johnny Walker would kill it at the 30-meter dash. The problem is there is no 30-meter dash. Pace yourself, Johnny Walker. I still think he can have a bright future in the UFC, but this seemed a little bit too much of the exposure of his weakness and all this talk of him being a challenge to John Jones one day. First of all, I thought that was way too premature when he even had the Corey Anderson fight, but I think they were so desperate to close Corey Anderson's mouth because he could not stop talking shit about the organization, the respect he wasn't getting, that they threw him in there and said, shit, hopefully this Johnny Walker guy, another flying knee or something, a spectacular fashion that he can do. Heavy elbows, heavy shots. The guy is skilled. He does have power. Take a little bit of time off. Work on pacing yourself. I think if he's still at TriStar Gym under Faraz Zahabi, that is a great place to work your strategy. And if he's only done one training camp, look, that's not enough. That's not enough time. That's not enough time to start getting your game and changing the pace, because as soon as the cage door closes, I mean, you're going to go back to your old habits right away. You need to train muscle memory all over the place. And plus, he doesn't want to lose too much of his style because, I mean, he could have caught Nikita Krylov in a minute or two in this fight. I wouldn't be saying any of this right now. And we would never know that he couldn't go for a solid 3 rounds. But it was very glaring. Just my opinion. Moving on. First fight of the night was John Makdessi versus Francisco Trinaldo. Does Francisco Trinaldo age? I mean, this guy looks like he's 84 years old, and he puts a fucking pace on guys. John Makdessi, highly elusive, highly skilled Taekwondo fighter, great stand-up, great boxing. He mixes it up very well, okay? I was there at UFC 129 when he landed the spinning back fist against Kyle. It's going to drive me nuts. I forget. He was from The Ultimate Fighter Season 12. He was one of the better guys coming out. I think he was actually Matt Hughes' old jiu-jitsu coach. It's going to drive me insane. I can't stop and think about it. But John Makdessi is dangerous on the feet. Francisco Trinaldo, I mean, if this guy can put a pace on you and start pushing pressure forward, I mean, he could reach to the top of the lightweight division still, even in his 40s. He doesn't really show any chinks in his armor, okay? You're going to have to really get after Francisco Trinaldo and step on the pace above him. Because once he starts getting aggressive, once he starts letting loose, once he starts letting go, this guy is an incredible fighter to watch. He stays very long with his boxing. You don't see him get too flaring with his elbows and looking for stupid shots. Very long, okay? Uses his footwork well, steps into every punch so that he's either fully in, fully out. His kicks are nasty. Francisco Trinaldo, I mean, you know what? He's in his 40s. Give him as top of an opponent as you can at this point. He has, the window should technically be shut on this guy. For a 155-pounder, I mean, you hear guys in the heavyweight division, sometimes even the light heavyweight division to fight to this age, but, I mean, there's only one Randy Couture. I don't think anyone's going to be fighting in the UFC past 47, but, I mean, this guy looks well on his way, so get him another top 5 opponent, okay? Now, what's next for the UFC? Well, who the hell knows? Who the hell knows? Now, look, I don't want to get dark here. Let's be real. I did a video just a little less than a week ago, okay? I believe it was Tuesday or Wednesday of last week, talking about how they're moving the crowd away from Brasilia. And I have to say, I'm fortunate that barely anybody watched that damn video. Very irresponsible on my behalf to be putting anything on the internet going, come on guys, can we work through this? It's just a hard, heavy flu. Very negligent, very naive, and irresponsible on my behalf. This shit is getting more serious every single day. Okay? I'm not an expert in infectious diseases. And like I said, even a week ago, I was talking something about like, come on, maybe we can figure this out in a few weeks and put some fights on. I had no idea what the hell I was talking about. No idea. This shit is serious. Where I'm from in Southern Ontario, I think we had maybe 34 cases of COVID-19. It's less than a week later, and we're already nearing 200, if not over 200. And there's people dying of it. I mean, you go shopping anywhere around here. I don't care where you are in the world. I mean, unless you're outside of North America. Are people in Europe overstocking on toilet paper too? What the fuck? Okay? It is freaky getting out there. Everybody's in a miserable mood. There's no sports. There's no normality. People are getting laid off. People don't know what the hell is going on. And we've had Dana White going, hey, we're going to rescue these fights. We're going to rescue these fights. And I've said, look, Tony and Habib, you got to make it happen. Look, it's probably not going to happen. I don't want to concede to it. But look at what the fuck is going on in our world. At this point, we got to weather the storm. Just like a championship fight. We got to weather the storm and stay smart, people. I know it's St. Paddy's Day, but Don't go out there exposing yourself. Even if you think this is all just some bullshit and you haven't caught on to the reality of it. And look, I'll admit about 3 weeks ago, was, what the fuck? Come on, people, calm down. No, it's getting pretty fucking serious. Okay? Don't be naive. What is the worst case scenario? That you self-isolate for a while, you keep yourself clean, you keep yourself uninfected, and this shit can pass and you can go, what a waste of time. That's a hell of a lot better than this thing getting worse than it already is. Okay? I don't know what the hell I'm going to do on this channel to talk about MMA fights in the next little while, because there's going to be no professional mixed martial arts happening for quite some time. So if you have any suggestions, I mean, if you want to watch some old fights together, you want to talk about some old fights, break down some old fights, fucking let me know. If you're on Facebook, check me out. I'm at Figs Talks Fights on Facebook. If you want to send a suggestion of a video, I'm at figstalksfights@gmail.com. There's a comment section of YouTube, which I know is where the scum of the scum come out. So far, this page is, we're pretty low at the goddamn totem pole, so let's keep this shit clean, all right? I've appreciated any feedback that's come my way, positive or negative so far, and let's just keep this shit positive. Let's stick together, all right? The world's gonna get through this. The world isn't ending, but by all means, this isn't some bullshit either. So look, just stay smart, take care of each other, and you know what? If you're not a Fight Pass customer, I gotta say I'm a Fight Pass customer. It's well worth the $9.99 a month. Okay, I think I owned about 180 UFC DVDs. Still do own them, and I'll pass them on to my son one day, and hopefully he doesn't freaking pawn them off. But when Fight Pass came out, I was pissed. Come on, man! I've invested thousands of dollars in putting out or buying these DVDs. I was pissed I couldn't watch the fight nights on DVD. Now you can watch every single UFC fight. Pride fights, WEC fights, Strike Force fights, Invicta fights, freaking Cage Warriors, freaking Submission Underground Grappling. You got the Quintet out there. You got Eddie Bravo on there. I know I'm trying to sound like I'm selling Fight Pass, because I am. If you don't have nothing to do and you don't have any sports, get fucking Fight Pass. Send me an email. Check me out on Facebook. Leave a comment. And let's talk about what the hell we're going to talk about for the next 8 weeks. And I don't know how many times I said all right. All right. So have another sip. Like I said, pandemic. Normally I wouldn't want to have a beer while doing these videos, but who gives a shit? Enjoy yourself. Be responsible, but still enjoy yourself, okay? Anyhow, I appreciate you watching very much. If you like the content, please subscribe to the channel. Let's fucking do something here, all right? Until next time, whatever the hell next time may be.